Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks to those of you that showed up to the ranch update last night. I did a surprise premiere. It was only like 10 minutes long, but found the mystery critter. It was a possum. It was in the garden bed. I uploaded a picture of it from the trail cam. It looked right into the camera. Anyway, I got the fence up, and I'm happy to say there were no critter sightings last night, so the fence worked. So I'm looking forward to a bountiful harvest for all this hard work putting this garden in. In the beginning, I was thinking, because when I first moved here, everyone's like, oh, just kill everything you see. And I'm like, well, and now I'm glad I didn't because we need this wildlife out here. There are people that kill foxes and kill possums, and I just don't think that's what God wants us to do. But it's okay to put a fence up and they can go find food somewhere else, right? So you learn a lot living out here. I feel like it's a very important part of what I do because it's the action part of everything we do on this channel, right? It's about being out of the world as much as possible. It's about not giving in to consumerism and all these things that we are programmed to do, entertainment and all these things. And I'm not judging the people that are still in that world by any means, but a lot of what I do is because of what I've learned through all of this truth stuff. So I know it's not for everybody, but there are a lot of lessons learned, even just living this kind of lifestyle. There are lessons that apply directly to what we're talking about and how we're supposed to try to live in the last days. Now, a couple of updates before we get into War of the Worlds. Apparently, this Devil's Den murder, this double murder that happened here in Arkansas, they're now saying they're finally admitting that it was a stabbing. And they're saying that the mother sadly took the girls to get help or to get them to safety. But then the mom went back to see if the husband was still alive. And that's when she was attacked, allegedly, by this guy. Now, there's something really weird going on with this. There's so many questions. One thing I noticed was that there appears to be multiple mugshot photos of this guy, all with different hairstyles. And it almost appears as though he was arrested several times. This is so weird. Like, first, they show him with his hair parted, then it's all curly, but he still seems to have this smock on or whatever that they put on you to have a haircut. Why is his hair different? What changed? And then there's a third photo, which also looks like a mugshot against this blank blue background. And this is eerily similar to me of like Adam Lanza. Remember the blank blue background? And you're like going, what is going on here? And then it occurred to me that this is all about the hair. And we were just talking about this, weren't we? I was sharing with you my experience where they told us we were not allowed to cut our hair. And now this story seems to link into that on some kind of spiritual level. The question is, if these are separate mugshots, at least this one is a separate mugshot, right? We have to admit that's a separate picture from a separate time period compared to this picture. If these are separate mugshots, how did this guy get a job as a teacher? Not only one job as a teacher, but multiple jobs as a teacher. There should have been some kind of background check, right? And if someone was arrested for something, that should disqualify them, if it's a felony, from being a teacher. So this is weird on so many levels. I mean, this could have been maybe his teacher picture, which if it was his teacher identification picture, that's scary. This could have been his driver's license picture, I suppose. But that doesn't explain the difference in hairstyles between these two pictures here. One, it's like been chemically straightened or blow dry straightened. And then this one, it's all curly again. There's something not right here, is there? So, makes you wonder. Now, we're going to get into some of the spiritual today, but I'm wondering what your guys' thoughts are on this before we get into the next story, which is a strange orange figure caught on camera outside of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. We're going to look at that and get your guys' thoughts on that as well. But let's go in here. Oh, that's a driver's license photo, says Josh. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. But what about the other two where his hair is different? That's just crazy. Yeah, something is very wrong. Oh my gosh. What a crazy story. Now they're still saying this is a random act of violence. Maybe the dad got into an altercation with the guy on some level. Who knows what happened? Very, very weird. All right, let's take a look at this footage. Actually, it's just a picture. Weird orange shape. Now the plot just continues to thicken on this. Looming in the background, an orange shape raises more questions about the Epstein footage. Experts say there are flaws with the official explanation. A mysterious orange shape was recorded ascending the stairs to where Epstein's cell was located, which federal investigators previously concluded was a corrections officer carrying up linen or inmate clothes. Wow. He disagrees with the conclusion reached by the DOJ Office of Inspector General. Now, that orange shape, I mean, were they wearing orange clothes? This could have been another inmate. Says it's more likely it's a person in an orange uniform, more specifically, a person wearing an orange inmate jumpsuit. CBS reported that other forensic experts were also skeptical of the conclusion reached by the federal investigators. There's a great deal of importance in who or what that grainy orange figure is. It traveled up the stairs to Epstein's cell block at 10:40 p.m. and is the last recorded movement in the direction of Epstein's cell before his body was discovered by the guards the next morning. Wow. Unbelievable. Now, the inference here, if you look at this on a spiritual level, I have always had my suspicions that Trump had this happen to cover up him from talking. If he is in fact dead, he could have been snuck out, right? But it's weird that he died at 66 years old, and that's the Trump number, 66, the twinning number. And this is the age that the stain allegedly died. So this orange figure, this orange color has always been attached to Trump. And I know, he wasn't like some kind of ghost who snuck in and killed him. It's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is this has spiritual significance, doesn't it? The orange essence attached to this case, which is just weird to me. Now, let's get into this War of the Worlds reboot 2025, starring Ice Cube. Here's the Wikipedia page on it. War of the Worlds 2025. This released, let's see, just a few days ago. I got clips of it for you. And, of course, Ice Cube plays the part of the all-seeing eye. He is the Palantir puppet. He spies on American citizens using pre-crime software. The software is called Goliath, which sounds a lot like Gotham, which is a real artificial intelligence surveillance software program that just got launched a few months ago by Palantir and was okayed by Trump to essentially spy on you using all of the cameras and all of your private data to determine if you are likely to commit a crime. Now, in the movie, the Goliath software is hidden inside of a separate, more widely accepted surveillance system called Guardian, which also sounds a bit like Gotham, doesn't it? So they're literally telling you what they're doing. Goliath, Guardian, Gotham. Now, let's get started on this. The first thing I need to show you that connects this to what's happening right now is, of course, Ice Cube, who was born one day after Trump. June 15th. Trump was born on June 14th. He was obviously cast for this role to depict the Trump character who is doing the exact same thing that Trump is doing right now. You can't make this up. Let's take a look, you guys. And I'm going to be pausing this intermittently. Let's take a look. So, Ice Cube is an analyst, a terror threat analyst, and he's sitting behind a terminal, literally spying on Americans. He can look in through any camera. He can look through any cell phone. He can even commandeer drones, cars. He determines and assesses the threat level by the way a person is moving, if their face matches up with known threats. He can listen in on anybody's cell phone.
Battery's dying. I'm sure I'm being spied on.
Shut up, man. You're just paranoid.
There's the gaslighting, as the guy says, I'm sure I'm being spied on. And the guy says, no, you're just being paranoid. You know, it's maddening. It is maddening when we're gaslighted and when we know what the truth is because they've already revealed to us what they're doing and people just simply gaslight you and tell you, oh, you're just being paranoid. So they have a terror watch list. It's basically anybody who's awake to their madness. They're put on a list and they monitor you. In this case, they're monitoring an entity called the Disruptor, who is a brilliant tech wizard himself, who can actually avoid detection, but yet still get the word out. And this person, this Disruptor, is kind of like WikiLeaks. He goes into, hacks government servers, and exposes the secret Goliath program to the world. So all this is happening right now. It is actually happening. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It was announced on mainstream news that Trump would launch Project Gotham with the help of Palantir to literally spy on our private data.
Not on my watch. Everywhere we go, everything we say, watch, read, and write is captured and evaluated to censor our awareness of the truth. I will be releasing classified documents proving the surveillance industrial complex is.
So they track the location of the Disruptor, or they think they are, but the Disruptor is very smart at being able to avoid detection, but they get an immediate warrant and they try to do a raid on the Disruptor.
Using their top secret Goliath program to collect our personal data to use against us. The surveillance state has also not revealed that the Goliath program is an existential threat to humanity that no one can possibly comprehend, and to enslave us to tyrannical, authoritarian government control.
Okay, Guardian. All right.
So he literally, Ice Cube goes in real time and he's able to block all of the IP addresses so that he can't even tell the world about the Goliath program. He literally blocks him from using the internet. This is how censorship works. The important information is buried and not seen.
Now let's go to suspect number 2.
Now, in this instance, he's tracking his daughter, who's pregnant. He calls her suspect number 2, and his children are obviously not happy with Ice Cube. because they're troubled by the way he sees the world and thinks that it's his right to infringe on American privacies. But the family quickly comes together to defeat a common threat, which is an alien invasion. Watch.
You will see all the alarming details in full disclosure in the Goliath documents that I'm releasing to the world.
I know people would rather have someone watch them than blow them up. I think it's a pretty fair trade if you ask me.
Well, I respectfully disagree. That's a choice. Give up our privacy or death.
Yep.
Now, this is crazy. So this is Ice Cube's daughter in the movie, and she develops a biological cannibal virus. And they need this because the threat, the alien threat, is both biological and digital. It's a hybrid. So they can't kill it with just a regular computer virus. They have to attach a DNA cannibal virus. Wow. You can't make this up, you guys. Let's keep watching. Oh, by the way, his son, Ice Cube's son, this kid here, ends up being the disruptor. He finds out that his son is actually the one who is trying to release the government files to inform the American people that they're being spied on. Now understand that this whole scenario, cannibal code reprograms DNA to attack sick cells. This was the exact plot of I Am Legend, wasn't it? They called it a cop car, remember? In the opening segment of I Am Legend, she says, we take a cop car and we take the bad cop out of the cop car and we put in a good cop. Well, the cop is the copper. It is the blue blood. And she's like, we've cured cancer. How? We used a bad virus and we infected everybody with it and it killed the cancer. Well, this is the same exact theme. Let's keep watching.
The world's governments have finally put aside their differences in an effort to protect the home planet. In what is an unprecedented collaboration to defend our cities, our countries, our way of life.
So the world comes together to defeat a common threat. We've heard presidents say this over and over and over again. There's a 923 sighting. I told you that would be significant on some level. In these last days, it keeps coming up over and over again. 923 is 329 backwards, the 88th day of the year, March 29th. And there's something to this, isn't there? And it remains to be seen. But wow. Now, the highest levels of government are trying to hide their secret Goliath program that's been spying on American citizens. And then we realize that the government was working with the aliens all along, all the way back to the infancy of technology, to create a system that spies on the American people so that the aliens could come back, hack into that information, hack into that data, and defeat the Earth.
William, you really took your time with this one, didn't you?
This so-called disruptor is trying to reveal a top-secret program called Goliath, and that file must not go out. It's national security. Reach out to the UN, NATO, everyone. Nothing short of a planetary alliance.
I can't try like this.
Don't worry. Gotcha.
Now, Ice Cube's daughter, of course, is pregnant, and she gets injured during the initial invasion. So what does Ice Cube do? He remotely commandeers a Tesla that he autopilots to get her safety.
Out of here. Just hold tight.
He can literally autopilot remotely. Now, what's going on here? Watch this.
You see that Tesla in front of you? I need you to get to it.
He has complete and total control. And this is what is actually the truth. She gets into the Tesla and he drives her away.
Man, that was close.
Now, here's what's crazy. The battery on the Tesla starts going low. And so Ice Cube enters a back door of the programming of the Tesla. And what function does he go into? It's called the sabotage function. On the software back end, he alters the settings to preserve the battery. Now, what could a sabotage function possibly mean? Well, many of us suspected that they have been taking over these cars remotely when they want to kill somebody or blow up the car or burn you inside if you're doing something that they don't want you to do. There was one guy that got drove off a cliff in Big Sur. Watch. The sabotage function. Huh. Wow.
Okay.
So he's preserving the batteries in the Tesla. Now, it was about this time that I looked into the cast. This is when I found Ice Cube sharing a birthday with Trump, one day off. And I found also the daughter that you just saw, who's pregnant. She was born 88 days after the 88th day of the year on June 25th, and she's 25 years old. That's a lock. And it's at this point that Ice Cube's son tries to tell him about Goliath, but Ice Cube calls it fake news. There's another Trump connection. Remember, he's born one day apart from Trump, so he is the Trump archetype. They're both Gemini, so he's the dark counterpart of Trump.
It's called Goliath.
That's fake news. I don't think I know about the government surveillance network. I am the government surveillance
You
network.
don't know about this one.
But-
Dad, listen. Goliath collects everything on us, and they won't stop until they have it all.
And right now, you're probably waking up going, wait a minute, I thought Ice Cube was on our side. Absolutely not. Everybody you see on TV who has any kind of influence or prominence is typically commandeered already. They might have something on him, but the fact that he's channeling the Trump archetype, birthday one day apart, the Gemini dark counterpart of Trump, he says fake news. He is the one leading the surveillance state, matching exactly with what Trump's doing right now. He cannot possibly be on our side. Now, at about this time, as the team of analysts observes the aliens, they're trying to determine their intent. They realize that they're going after the data centers.
You know, everywhere they've been going, there's a data center.
Data center?
Yeah, they found all the government servers.
All systems have been penetrated and data drained. We must resort to a full manual attack at this point.
And now engaging these invaders in what amounts to be hand-to-hand combat just to get our troops out of immediate harm's way.
Now, at this point, they realize that the aliens and our military-industrial complex made a deal to develop technology to collect our data so that the aliens could use it to conquer us when the data was finally collected. And this is exactly what I've been trying to tell people. This is the most important story of the end times. AI is the fallen angels. So, Ice Cube and the team develop a computer virus to try to fight the aliens.
The military are sitting ducks and being slaughtered without their advanced digital systems.
This invasion is the result of the surveillance industrial complex collecting massive amounts of data with the Goliath program. I tried to warn you of the threat. Government knew this would happen, and they activated Goliath anyway.
Let's back up here. I don't know if you guys caught this, but here's the defense systems, and at the top is Space Force. Now, tomorrow, we will be watching the pilot episode of a 1978 sitcom called Space Force. And you're not going to believe this, but they literally talk about the surveillance state. They talk about there's an artificial intelligence that runs the ship. There's illegal immigration and trafficking. There's a character named Leon, which is Elon's name scrambled. We're going to watch that episode together on Sunday show. I hope I didn't say tomorrow. I meant Sunday. We're going to watch it together, and all of you are going to get to decode it with me. Now, I've already watched it, and I'll be pausing in the parts where I think I found something, but you guys might have found something else. But this Space Force is important, remember, because the guy who's in the sitcom, who stars in it, he was also in the film WALL-E. And before he died in real life in 2020, he went on Jimmy Kimmel, was talking about the ghost of Fred Trump. And he was talking about the Space Force and his role that he played in 1978. And he was praising Trump and his Space Force. It's all connected, you guys. Let's keep watching here.
Sitting ducks and being slaughtered without their advanced digital systems.
This invasion is the result of the surveillance industrial complex collecting massive amounts of data with the Goliath program. I tried to warn you of the threat. Government knew this would happen, and they activated Goliath anyway. Our most precious resource on Earth is data, and data is food for the superior intelligence that invaded Earth. If they locate Goliath and consume its data, the world will return to the Stone Age. The invaders won't stop until they have it all.
So, finally, the disruptor releases these files. Ice Cube's looking at the files. These are some of the files. Project Blue Book, UAP Events, 1948. Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed, UAP Harvesting, Five Eyes, Intel, the Gang of Eight, DHS, NSA, CIA. They've been building, all of these are relatively, well, DHS, NSA, DOD, Goliath Cosmic Secret Program. Unbelievable.
They will come for it. It'll be a full invasion, damn it.
Invasion? We now have the ability to predict every person's thoughts and movements. It's total control.
Briggs went rogue, collecting data. Oh, man. That's what brought them here in the first place. They knew, and they hid it from us.
Bradford, the government's like mommy and daddy. If we can't track our babies, how can we protect them?
Is that what this is about?
Here we go, here we go.
Been waiting to take down the government for years.
So they try to infect the aliens with just a computer virus, but it doesn't work, as I said earlier, because it has to also have the biological component. And in order to get the biological component in, they have to do it manually with a thumb drive. So Ice Cube's daughter's boyfriend, he's an Amazon delivery driver. And they even include this part about drone delivery service, which of course will eventually replace his job. But everyone's in such a fog and asleep. They literally believe Trump that we're going to go into a golden age where AI is going to make us all so that we don't have to do any more work. They literally don't even realize that we will be completely worthless if robots do everything. And then that's when the population starts to disappear. Let's keep watching.
Prime Air.
Right here.
Oh, it's the future of delivery. Faith can load it here and I can get it to you. How? They've been training us for months. I need you to place an official order on Amazon to activate.
Now look at the colors of the drone. It's literally pink and green, adrenochrome and reptilian colors. And he thinks he's so cool because he gets to operate a drone. I get to basically eliminate my job. How asleep we are. There should be a level of, what's the words I'm looking for here? If they were to allow AI to do certain roles in our economy, there should be huge limitations put on it that allow the human condition to remain intact without the influence of artificial intelligence. If you want to use AI to do a math equation, fine. But to start delivering food and products in these things and replacing American jobs should be unacceptable. Wow. Let's keep watching here.
They've been training us for months. I need you to place an official order on Amazon to activate the drone.
Nuts.
So those were the clips that I had. They're literally telling us in these movies what they're going to do to us. But very few people believe when we're trying to show them the predictive programming. They just don't believe it. I don't know if it's the source. I don't know if it's the gaslighting. I don't know what it is. But very few people are awake to this stuff. Now, Sunday, as I said, we're going to have a special live viewing show. We're going to watch the pilot episode of Space Force. It's only about 25 minutes long. And in it, there is AI, there's the surveillance state, there's Elon Musk. Now, Elon was only 7 years old when this came out. But yet, there's a character named Leon, which, of course, is Elon names scrambled. There's also child trafficking, illegal immigration. There's twins in it. It's insane. And it all relates back to the character that was in Wall-E, who was a tech billionaire president. He was also in the Space Force episode. He died in 2020. But right before he died, he did several skits on Jimmy Kimmel. Skits about the Space Force pilot, as well as the ghost of Fred Trump. Now, it sounds random, but now it's not so random, is it? Now it's not so random. All right, I'm in the chat for a bit. You guys, what are your thoughts on all this? I'm curious to get your opinions and thoughts. Space farce. It's almost as if Trump named the Space Force after the 1978 pilot. Yeah, Snowball says, you think he was just 7? Yeah, right? Exactly. These people could be hundreds of years old, and we just don't know it. Not so random at all. Exactly, Mimi. Capturing the headquarters Ice Cube. Man, I don't understand what that means. No, it was Jimmy Kimmel. We covered that on yesterday's show, actually. When we did the Wall-E decode, I showed you. Now, what I'll do next is I'm going to go back to those skits and watch them with a fine-tooth comb, because there will probably be even more clues. Remember, 2020 was Trump's first presidency. He was already setting it up. You guys, this is crazy. So I don't want to reveal what the source of where I got the pilot, because with YouTube now, they'll take it away, right? And I don't even know what the copyright status of that episode is, but it's almost nowhere else on the internet. I don't want to give it away where it's at, but essentially we're going to do it anyway, even if we get a copyright notification, because it's that important. It's one of those things that should be in the public domain by now, but it's very, very important. The only copy of it was a guy who had it on videotape. He videotaped it. So we're going to watch it together, and you're going to see everything that I just explained to you. And I'll probably go back and, again, look at those Jimmy Kimmel episodes where this guy appears and see if there's any more clues. because Trump set it up from the beginning. This whole Space Force and his working with Elon Musk, because Elon Musk is part of the Space Force to get everything up in the sky with his rockets, his reusable rockets. All of this is connected. And this went all the way back to 2020. During the pandemic, all this was being put into place, you guys. All this is being put into place. So, what's Ice Cube's real name? Let's look it up here. Let's take a look here. Space Force or the Worlds. Here it is. Ice Cube's real name. There could be a clue there, right? Now, this movie is being panned as a failure, but sometimes they'll do this because they don't want people to see the truth. It's like gaslighting. It's more gaslighting. It's like they put a movie out, they put all this money into it, they disclose all this stuff, and then they pan their own movie. But then they could say, oh, well, we told everyone it's not our fault they didn't watch it because it was panned. So Ice Cube's real name is O'Shea Jackson. O'Shea. I don't even know what that might mean, but he is 56 years old. Super creepy. All right, let's go back here. Super creepy. Yeah, Sunday is going to be a big show. Got a 3.3 on IMDb. Yeah, the birthday is one day from Trump's. He is the Trump character in the movie. He's related to Michael Jackson. Really? Ice Cube. And I grew up on Ice Cube and NWA and all that stuff. Like that was my whole, late teen childhood was all that stuff. A lot of you don't know about Ice Cube because, you're younger or you're older, but he was like front and center in my life, that whole thing. I think we just couldn't believe that music was being made where there was open drug use or, he was part of the normalization of pot. Pot used to be something that people kind of did, but it wasn't a daily life thing. It was like on the weekends, right? Or it was after work. They really helped propel cannabis use into the daily user all day long is what they did. It was what groups like NWA did. They also, of course, sexualized women, that whole thing. And they created like the pimp persona. They had ruined an entire generation of young black youth and young white youth who went into this lifestyle of sexualizing women and daily drug use and gangster activity. And they did it all under the guise of artistic expression. And a lot of it had to do also with, they allowed black people, we'll get into some of these topics of race and stuff. They allowed, there's an expression called give a person enough rope, right? And that's exactly what the entertainment industry did. They did this intentionally to ruin black youth who aspired to this lifestyle. Their entire clothing lines. You guys, this was the 90s and early 2000s. There were entire clothing lines that went out and people bought all these clothes and they basically took on this urban look. And I was one of those people. The sportswear and all this stuff. And you might think, oh, Casey, that's good. They became successful, but at what cost? They ruined an entire generation of young people. And you can say what you want, but I'm a black person telling you the truth about all this. And other black people know this. But very few say it because they don't want to side with the other side or whatever. They think that they're somehow selling out by admitting this. But when you look back and you look at the damage that was done, it is the truth. It is the truth. Now, fortunately, I pulled out of that part of my life, but I was definitely took on the thug life. You can't imagine it now because I guess I'm more refined and I'm different. I've grown up, I've matured. But if you were to have met me in high school or even the early years of college, you wouldn't have recognized me. I talked different. I was thug life. I wanted to fight. I wanted to steal. Now, I didn't get into smoking blunts and all that, but I did drink 40-ounce liquor and all that stuff for many years. You know, these are things you carry with you. And it's all because of the program. Because if you don't see it in music and TV, then you're not going to know to do it, right? This is how it works. This has nothing to do with, I get so much heat from people of my own race. You're a sellout. You're an Uncle Tom. No, I'm telling you the truth. And our situation won't improve until we start holding these people accountable. In the 80s, we had, the Huxtables, right? We had Bill Cosby, and that was a positive example of Black life. But the problem with that is most Black people can't aspire to that, right? We needed more like normal, middle of the road, successful people. We needed to see examples of Black store owners, Black plumbers, Black carpenters. We didn't need to see a Black family of lawyers, which is about 1% possibility that that's going to happen, right? So there you go. There's the truth, if you want to know it. And so, yeah, Ice-T endorsed St. Ides. And then so you got to ask yourself, okay, so basically Ice Cube was used. Now, there are even, if you want to dig deeper into this story, you'll realize that that NWA was literally signed by, can someone answer the question? Who signed NWA? Who signed them? What group of people signed NWA? And this will help you understand what's really happening and how all this works, how predictive programming works. Who signed NWA? It's a group of people. Oh, Snowball already said it. Yeah, they were behind the scenes. I even suspect, yep, there you go. Cloud Killer got it. Yep, there you go. So, I suspect they even helped them produce the music. They might have even written some of the music for them and all this. And it was to incite violence. It was to depict Black people in negative light so that people around us think, oh, all Black people must be like that. They dress just like them. They talk just like them. They're holding a 40-ounce. They're smoking a blunt. Oh, they must be just like them. Even if you're not like them, you've taken on the persona. You've already sunk your own ship. And so this was done intentionally. It's gaslighting. It's no different than what Trump's doing now, surrounding himself by the most dysfunctional Black people instead of doctors, lawyers, plumbers, carpenters, people that get up and go to work every day, work really, really hard to show us that side of Black culture. They always lead with the most dysfunctional part of Black culture or the impossible of Black culture, like being a Michael Jordan. 0.2% of the Black population is going to be like Michael Jordan. Why create that as something that Black people should aspire to? Yes, if you love sports, that's great, but you shouldn't tell your child, hey, you could be the next Michael Jordan or you could be the next Ice Cube. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm trying to get to here, because this is very, very important to understand how we're being manipulated. So now you know the truth. All right, what else is going on? We'll hop off of that. Well, I guess I'll see you guys on Sunday. Now, well, let's end with this. So what would be the purpose of them doing this? Well, it's to create divide, right? It's to keep stoking the racial pot. It's to firmly place Black people on one side of the aisle, which would be liberals, is what they tried to do. And that also helps create the divide of the right-left paradigm as well as race divide. And in that way, they can work their magic in the background and continue to control all of us. If black people and white people actually came together, we might wake up to the right-left paradigm, right? Instead, there's this mistrust, distrust, there's accusations, false accusations. There's perpetuating of this divide that just continues on and on and on, and it never ends. And nobody wants to stand up and try to bring it together because they've been so firmly divided. And that's how it works. This is how they control us. We can't come together. So, yes, we keep fighting each other instead of the real enemy. So that was the purpose of it. They needed to create this as a distraction so they can continue to move forward, because in the background, you've got race issues that the people at the top created through these entertainment leaders. This is how they've done it. This is why I don't like these entertainers, these black entertainers. Now, I know they've done this with white people as well, Madonna and all this stuff. But notice how they've done this, and then everything they do is a trigger, right? It's all a trigger to trigger people. That's why they do it. So, all right, you guys, enough of that. I love each and every one of you. I will see you guys on Sunday. Much love.